Hey besties, it's Nat back again with another Happy Home Paradise speed build. A little fall themed Happy Home Paradise speed build for all of you. Happy October. Today we are calling up my good friend Marty to build him a pumpkin patch slash honeybee farm because I needed to post a video and also because there are currently bees living inside of my walls. So if you're new here, hi, like I said, my name is Nat slash new, you can call me whatever. This is not a new development and it is also not clickbait. There are actually honeybees living inside of my walls, specifically next to my desk. I don't know why this is his theme. Okay, don't ask me why this is his theme. I don't know and I don't care. We're gonna get to that in a minute. I posted a video in I believe June of last year where I explain a hiatus that I was forced to take because there were bees living inside my walls. And I'll link that video for all of you if you want to go check that out. But long story short, they took care of the bees, or so I thought. And then recently, the bees came back, which I was not expecting. But because of that, I have had some issues recording and streaming because they do live directly next to my desk and they do buzz throughout the day. Last time the bees were here, they mostly lived in my window, which was very bad because I could hear and see them constantly and it was a nightmare. Now it's sort of like a different kind of nightmare because they mostly live inside of the wall, but they are so loud inside of the wall that I can hear them in the wall. And it's terrifying and I do not like it. But yeah, I thought they were gone. They'd been gone for like a year. And then one day I see one in my window and that sets off alarm bells. And then I notice there were some holes that one of the exterminators had poked in the wall previously to like figure out where the beehive was. And some honey had dripped down from those holes. And I noticed that recently more honey has been dripping down and it's much darker. And that sort of set off alarm bells. And then I peeked my head out the window and lo and behold, there were bees swarming around the hole that had previously been closed up. So yeah, bees are back and I'm recording this video on a gaming laptop that I borrowed from a friend. So pardon any audio issues. This is obviously not an ideal recording setup, but nothing about this is ideal. So we're gonna deal with it because I live in a cartoon world. So if you're new here, welcome to my cartoon life. Hope you enjoy yourself because you know someone has to have fun around here, and if it's not gonna be me, then it's gonna be you. Just to be clear, this is a bee friendly channel. Like I understand bees are very important to the environment. I've seen the bee movie. I know what's going on. I can't have them living in my walls. That's not. They can't stay there. They can't stay there. And if there's a way to remove the bees, without exterminating them, I trust me. I wish I could, but I first of all I rent. So it's not really up to me, it's really up to my landlord. And also, all of the solutions that would get the bees out with little harm to them would involve letting the bees into my apartment, like thousands of bees swarming in my tiny 600 square foot apartment. So yeah, no, we're not doing that. What we are doing is building a honeybee farm slash pumpkin patch for Marty. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the build now that we've explained the bee situation and why I've been able to post or stream recently, which is just my luck, honestly. Like I said in the intro, I wanted to do a fall inspired theme. 'Tis the season, besties, the best season, Halloween season. It's actually finally fall here in Atlanta. It's cold this week. I had to get my sweaters out. So that was really exciting. But I wanted to do a fall themed build. And I also really enjoyed building a farm on the same lot for Jeremiah when we did our PCRF charity stream a couple months ago. I thought that build turned out really, really cute. And so I wanted to do a build similar to that. Obviously, the honeybee aspect of the build, I think, is pretty self-explanatory. I needed to get that out of my system, and I figured Animal Crossing was the place to do it. So as you can see now, we're placing down some honeybee models, and later on, spoiler alert, besties, I'm actually going to go get some honeybees and add them to the build, how you can add like bugs to your Happy Home Paradise builds. So we're gonna add some actual honeybees floating around, and we have the honeybee models, and of course we have the pumpkins, which I tried to arrange sort of in a random assortment of colors and shapes. I used the actual jack-o'-lanterns turned around to make the pumpkins look bigger, and right now it's taking me a million years to figure out which fence I want. So I hope you're enjoying that. But we're gonna take a little while to figure out the outside. I really, really like how this build turned out. I feel like I say that for every build, but like This one in particular, I think, is extremely cute. And I haven't done something so like cottagecore cutesy in a while. At least it doesn't feel like I have. I guess I did renovate my bedroom in sort of a similar style, but honestly, I feel like this build is very different. It's very warm. It's extremely warm and it's extremely Marty. It's very Marty themed. I'm actually really excited that I'm finally using my Sanrio villagers. I was one of the lucky few who got the Sanrio amiibos on launch day with very little effort. My friend and I went to Target right when they opened, and they just had them out, and they were like, "Here, you can each have two," and we both got 2 sets of the amiibos, and I gave one to another friend. So I've had mine since they came out. That is not a common experience. That was an event, besties. If you weren't there in the community when the Sanrio amiibos dropped, it was a time. It was a time. And I did not have a time. I had a very easy time getting the Sanrio amiibos. Maybe that's my karma, and now it's being paid back with the bees living in my house. But I use the Sanrio furniture all the time. I use it in builds constantly, but I never use the villagers. Like, they don't live on my island or anything. And I'm pretty sure this is the first time I've used one of them for a Happy Home Paradise build, so we're gonna have to do more of these. Like, this is really, really fun. But Marty, I feel, was perfect for this build in particular. I feel like he's very cutesy. First of all, he's adorable. But he kind of gives me like Winnie the Pooh vibes. Like, I don't know. I just thought like, oh, Honey Farm, that's perfect for him. And literally as I'm recording this voiceover, I remember that I meant to use that item that looks like a pot, and it's like the colorway has like dripping on the side, and it kind of looks Winnie the Pooh-esque. Like, it looks like he would get stuck in there, and I didn't use that in this build, and I'm kind of regretting it now. I don't know how I remember that just now when I'm doing the voiceover, but I still think this build turned out very, very cute, and I'm very pleased. It is, like I said, very Marty, especially the second floor. The second floor is extremely Marty themed. So if you're a Marty fan, if you're a Pom Pom Purin fan, now is your time, bestie. This is your moment. Welcome in. I'm happy to have you. You know what? You should let me know down below who your favorite Sanrio character is. And actually, you know what? Let me know what Sanrio character you'd like to see get an amiibo card, like villager crossover. I personally, I'm a Pachaco girl. I've been a Pachaco girl for a minute. And he's finally having a bit of a renaissance right now, and I'm quite pleased. But I would love to have a Pachaco villager. I also love Hanyadon. I absolutely adore Hanyadon. I actually have a little crochet Hanyadon that I got at a festival in Piedmont Park that is hanging out my backpack, and I love him. But yeah, those are my two favorites, and I would absolutely die if they made a Pachaco amiibo card. That villager instantly going on the island. I don't know who he was replacing, but he's getting a spot instantly on Nautilus. I absolutely adore Pachaco. But yeah, the outside is finally coming together. Very orange, very red. Ooh, did I mention the apple orchard aspect of the build? I don't think I did. This build is also meant to be an apple orchard. I just wanted it to have like all of the fall things possible. So obviously we have some apple trees, and there's going to be lots of pops of red throughout the build, especially on the inside. I kind of wish that we had more options for fruit baskets and veggie baskets in this game. It would be so nice to have like an item, because we have like the vegetable basket and the fruit basket, but it'd be nice if it was like a basket that was just apples, or a basket that was just carrots or just pumpkins. Ooh, actually, speaking of veggies, we are about to hop into the design portal and pick out a little sign for our pumpkin patch. So it'll pop up the creator whose sign we're using. Pix Prince, thank you for making such a cute little sign. I will make sure to have that down below if you guys want to go download it. But I just searched pumpkin patch in the design portal. Very useful to have the search function. I'm so glad they added that in the update. But yeah, we just added that cute little sign, and we're gonna add more red touches throughout the build, especially on the interior, which has lots of red, especially the downstairs. The downstairs is very red, the outside is very orange, and then the upstairs is very yellow. So this is a very warm build. And we're also adding in these little string lights that I ended up putting in the front of the build. I really wanted something to like fill that space that's supposed to be the walkway up to the building, but I wanted something that wouldn't like block the view, because the view is very cutesy and I wanted it to be visible. And I feel like the string lights were good because unlike the other archways, which are kind of like thicker and more opaque, I feel like the archway that's just the string lights doesn't have as much visual weight to it, so it's sort of like, oh, it's just sort of there and it doesn't block as much of the view, if that makes sense. I don't know. Sometimes I start talking about build stuff and I'm like, am I just being pretentious and weird, or does this like make sense to anyone? Does this help? Are you being helped by this? Is this a build tutorial, or is this just me talking? You know what? While we're on the subject of me talking, last video was very villager lore heavy. So if you're curious about what's going on Nautilus, check out the last video because I talked a lot about that in that video. But in this video, let's talk about me, because obviously we opened with the sort of doom and gloom of like, oh, she has bees living in her walls. That's terrifying. So I just want to let y'all know that there are good things happening in my life. Last time we spoke, I had actually recently come back from a vacation. I visited Savannah, Georgia for the first time, and it was amazing. I'll throw up like a picture or two. Very beautiful. We went to the beach. We went to like museums and restaurants and explored the city. Absolutely the most stunningly gorgeous city I've ever been to in my life. Like, it was so beautiful. Every street looked like you're in a movie. It was unbelievable. And I know I have some besties who go to SCAD, so shout out all the SCAD besties. I was in your city, and I'd like to come back. I'd like to come back and visit again because it's very beautiful there, and I had a wonderful time. Speaking of wonderful times, I also went to a couple shows since you last saw me. In case you're wondering, I did go to the sweat tour, and I did sweat. I actually danced so hard that like for a couple of days afterwards, I couldn't walk right. Like, my legs stopped working. I should have stretched beforehand. That was a mistake because I am an old woman now. But I did wear sneakers. I was prepared, and I still danced way too hard. But it was an amazing show. I actually, you know what? I have seen Troye Sivan every single time he has come to Atlanta. And the thing that I find funny about that is that this is going to sound mean. I don't mean it in a mean way. I am a Troye Sivan fan, I guess. I have been watching Troye Sivan for a minute, okay? I've been around since the Tyler Oakley collab video days, okay? I know a little thing about Troye Sivan. But I like, he's not in the rotation like 24/7 like a lot of the other artists that I go see. So I don't know, it's just like, it feels like a tradition at this point. It's like, even if he wasn't touring with Charli, which I like really wanted to see Charli because I'd never seen her before, I guess I would have gone, because like I felt like I was like, oh, this is what I have to do. Like, I have to go see him. That's just the tradition. But he was great. Charli was great. I absolutely lost my mind when she started playing Vroom Vroom. I don't know why. I don't know why I didn't assume that would be on the set list, because like obviously it should be. But you know, it was very Brat heavy, and I didn't look up the set list beforehand like I normally do. So I was just like, whoa, oh my god, that was everything to me. I wish she'd played more songs from How I'm Feeling Now, because I am How I'm Feeling Now truther. I love that album. But you know who else was amazing? Shy Girl. I've already seen Shy Girl. I saw Shy Girl when she toured, I think it was a year ago. Anyways, highly recommend going to see Shy Girl if you get the chance to see her live. Not only because her music is amazing and very fun to dance to, but also because she's so gorgeous. Like, looking at her in real life, it's like, how are you real? You're so beautiful. Anyways, that was my sweat tour experience. You know what? I think I'm gonna break up the concert stories into each part of the build, just because I have 3 of them. So that was the first one, and you're gonna have to wait approximately 1 or 2 minutes for the next one. Honestly, maybe even less. I'm looking at the time stamp on the recording software right now, and I think we're about to head to the inside, because this is pretty much how the outside is going to look. We are going to come back, like I said, much later on in the build and adjust a couple of things and add the bees. We're going to go get some honeybees and actually add them to the build flying around. But we're just adding this little fishing area / picnic area down by the water over there. I absolutely love this lot. I have grown to love this lot in Happy Home Paradise so much because it's a good shape. Like, it's sort of large and mostly square, so it's easy to fit a bunch of stuff in the top area, but there's like little extra bits that make it sort of unique and fun. I love all the water features, and like the background trees and the river are really pretty. I don't know, I just really like this lot. And we're heading inside. This is the stuff that he wanted in his original prompt. This is long after that prompt. We're done with his weird castle, confectionery, calorie castle, whatever that he wanted. And we're building him a little convenience store. I decided that it would be really cute if it was sort of like a country store attached to an apple orchard / pumpkin patch. And we're gonna have a little area to the left side of the build that's like a pumpkin carving area for kids that's gonna be decorated with little pumpkin objects and like Halloween decorations and stuff. I just thought that would be super duper cute. So it's gonna be a little bit Bob's house inspired, but also something different and unique for our friend Marty. I will say I struggled a lot with the colors in this downstairs area, especially because I feel like there wasn't a lot of contrast, and that was really bothering me. Like right now, you can see the floor is very orange, and then the walls are sort of like an orangey brown wood, and then the tables that I set up to be like the pumpkin carving tables are that same color of wood. And so it felt sort of like everything blended together, and I really, really struggled with that. I wanted to use this wallpaper so badly, and we do end up keeping it obviously in the final build, but I was struggling with it so much because I use wallpaper all the time. Like they should take this away from me because I love it so much. I use it all over Nautilus. I used it in Bob's convenience store build. I used it in my character's house, and it's just like the perfect log cabin vibe. Like not a literal log cabin, because we have log cabin wallpaper and I have used that before in builds as well, but like sometimes you want something that looks like rustic and cabin-y, but not like a literal Lincoln log cabin. Did anyone have Lincoln logs when they were growing up? I had those when I was a kid, and they're a lot of fun. Not to go on a Lincoln log tangent, but I wanted something that was like suggestive of like a rustic cabin, but not like literal log cabin energy. So this wallpaper is just so perfect for that. And like the color is perfect. It's like warm wood, and the knots in the wood and the shine of it. It's just like an amazing texture, and I just love it. I love it so much. And it was perfect for this build, but it's the same wallpaper I used in Bob's build, and I didn't want it to be Bob's convenience store part 2 because I don't know, I wanted Marty to have his own thing. And that's also why I wanted to keep this floor, because this is Marty's floor and it's literally so perfect for this build. It's like a checkered floor, linoleum, like it screams convenience store, and it's the perfect colorway for a fall build, but like it just blended in and it looked like a visual mess. Like you're gonna see I struggled with this for so long, and the solution ended up being to mix together a bunch of different wood tones. Like I needed to have some like white wood and some lighter wood, and not just have the same like medium like orangey wood tone throughout the build. But I just wanted to use it so badly because it's like, oh, it's perfect for the build, but it was the same all over the build and it just was not working, did not look good. But that is my little rant about how much I struggled with the colors in this area. I do think it turned out really, really cute. I tried to mix up like the orange and the yellow and the red and like sort of white and beige and all of those things together. So hopefully you all think that it's cute as well. And it looked a lot better when I added in the Halloween decorations too, because they were a lot more colorful. Like there's purple and there's green, and there's stuff that the game mixes in to the Halloween decorations that really helped make the build more colorful and fun, especially for the kids area, which it takes me a while to figure out, and we're gonna get to that sort of later on. I'm working on it now with like the little sink area in the back, which is supposed to be like the cleanup area for the kids. And honestly, it's very reminiscent of Coco's house, I think, because she has her whole pottery studio, and I use the same tables and like the same setup of like the table or the sink in the back. So I don't know, it's reminiscent of a lot of things. This build, you know, she didn't fall out of a coconut tree. She is in the context of all that is and came before her on Nautilus. You know what was the MVP of this build, honestly, were these streamers. Not to go on another build related tangent, though I guess if this is a speed build, then all the other stuff that I talk about is a tangent, and then this is actually relevant. But okay, on the topic of ceiling decor, I resent this game so much for not having actual hanging plants that hang from the ceiling. We have wall plants that are in pots that hang from the wall, and we have vines that hang from the ceiling. But the vibe of like vines growing out of a ceiling and the vibe of like a hanging plant are very different. And this would not be such a big issue if we could hang things from partition walls, because as you can see at the back of this build, we have half of it covered by a partition wall so that I can have 2 different wallpapers, and that whole wooden wall section I can't hang anything off of. So it's like this big tall wall that it's really difficult to decorate. And luckily, these streamers came to the rescue and were the perfect solution. They added the right colors. They're very festive. They're very fun. They fit the theme. But I really wish that they were more like actual hanging plants in the game that I could hang from the ceiling, that weren't vines growing out of the ceiling, because that's a very different vibe than a potted plant hanging down. Just as like ceiling decor is so useful in this game now that they added partition walls, because I need ceiling decor to decorate a partition wall if I want want to have something that's not like a tall piece of furniture in front of the wall. That is my rant about the ceiling decor in this game. I hope you enjoyed that. I did a Q&A video for Extra Besties, which is my channel memberships. You get extra streams and extra videos over there if you want to check that out. And emotes are coming. Get excited about that, besties. But I did a Q&A recently for Extra Besties that should be available now while you're watching this. I'll have more info about that at the end of the video, actually. But in that Q&A, someone asked me what I would want in the next Animal Crossing game, and I had sort of a similar answer to that rant, which is I really want the game to like pick a lane, right? Like be a decorating game or be like the life sim that Animal Crossing GameCube was. Like pick one of those two things, you know, be more confident in what you are. So I really hope that if they decide to stick with this being a decorating game, that they add more decorating features and consider stuff like the hanging plants or other furniture, like maybe some of the stuff they had in Pocket Camp. And then if they decide to go more hard on the life sim aspects, that they beef that up a little bit more in the next game. But we'll see how that turns out. But besties, we have time. We have plenty of time before we get another Animal Crossing, and best believe I will be playing it on this channel. But for now, we have New Horizons, so we will be playing New Horizons, and also City Folk as well. We have to do another City Folk stream. Obviously, with the bee situation and having to record videos on a gaming laptop, streaming is a little bit tricky for me right now. I have been doing some Extra Besties streams, so it's not impossible, but especially streaming off of the Wii. We'll have to see how that goes. But I want to stream again, besties. I do miss it a lot, and I did have fun with those Extra Besties streams, even though the laptop was struggling. I feel for her. I really do. I'm sorry, gaming laptop. Please forgive me for my indiscretions. But you know what? Maybe the gaming laptop is actually good luck, because on one of those Extra Besties streams that I did from the laptop, I caught my first ever full odds shiny Pokemon. For those of you who are unaware, in Pokemon, there are shiny variants, which are like a different colorway, and they're very rare. In the newer Pokemon games, so like Gen 6 and up, the odds are 1 in every 4,096 Pokemon that you encounter will be a shiny. So there is like methods to hunting shiny Pokemon, including using tools that the game gives you to increase your odds of finding a shiny. For example, one of the most common ones is the shiny charm, which you get at the end of your playthrough in Scarlet and Violet. But I've not finished the main story of Scarlet and Violet because I wanted to finish the game with the shiny. So my only option was to do a full odds hunt, which is where you don't use any extra help to find the shiny. You're just going the full 4,096. I did use a food that made my Pokemon have more eggs. There are ways to like breed your Pokemon together, and they'll have eggs, and you can hatch those eggs, and hopefully one of them will pop out as a shiny. And we found our shiny Gibble in 454 encounters. It might have actually been 457. There was a little bit of confusion with the counting, but that is way under odds. We calculated it was like something like 11% odds, which is super early and super lucky. And it was really, really fun. I'll put a clip in of when we caught it. What if you imagine that the Blundra was a vampire? A specific vampire, or like just a vampire generally? Oh, what? What? Wait. What? She's so precious. Oh, my baby. I'm very proud. I named her Beyonce, and we are going to evolve her into a shiny Garchomp that I'm going to use to finish the game, hopefully. So be on the lookout for that. That might end up being a video. But I actually have a hot take about shiny Pokemon, and that is that I personally prefer subtler shiny designs. A lot of people see like a shiny like Garchomp and they're like, oh, it's barely different than the normal Garchomp, and they prefer shinies that are like flashier and like way different colors than the original version. I really like shiny Garchomp and a lot of subtle shinies. I feel like it's like a subtle flex, like, oh, didn't you know it's a shiny Pokemon? It comes out of the ball and it's like a little bit different. And I love shiny Garchomp in particular, not just because Garchomp is my favorite Pokemon, but also because it's just so like subtle and classy, like the dark gray as opposed to like the purpley bluish color that Gardevoir normally is. I don't know, I just love it. It's just my favorite. So I am really excited to finally get to use her to finish the game. I gotta do that. But for now, I'm just gonna take things slow. Keep doing the extra best juice streams. Hopefully, get a chance to stream for everyone again very soon. And who knows, maybe the bees will get taken care of in a timely manner this time, and I won't have to worry about that. But let's talk about the build again for a second. I got to add in the Pum Pum Purin TV behind the cash register, and I'm so happy that I did because I ended up not being able to fit it upstairs, and I wanted to use as much Pum Pum Purin furniture and decor as possible in the build while still sort of fitting the theme and looking like a rustic farmhouse, I guess, as much as you can make the Hello Kitty furniture fit in with that style. I did use the Pum Pum Purin bed in my room reno video that I did a little while back, so maybe it does fit the style, or maybe it's just me and it's just that I like that bed because I think it's cute. But we're wrapping up the actual store area right now, and then we're gonna work on the pumpkin carving station, which I think is super duper cute. I was honestly kind of trying to channel the pumpkin carving station that comes in The Sims 4 spooky stuff, or is it spooky day stuff? I can't remember, but there is a stuff pack from like way back in the day, like right after The Sims 4 came out, that is Halloween themed, like before they had seasons, which was kind of confusing, but it came with a pumpkin carving table. And that was sort of the rustic kind of vibe that I was trying to channel for this pumpkin carving station. I think it turned out really, really cute. I ended up putting down the little cutting board item with a little cloth on it. Like that's what the kids were using to carve the pumpkins. I don't know. I just really like how this interior turned out. I wasn't actually sure what it was going to be when I set out to make this build because I only really had the vision for the outside in my head, but I'm really pleased with how the inside turned out as well. But speaking of The Sims 4, I am so excited for the new expansion pack, the Life or Death expansion pack. And I actually think that the day that this video goes up, I think there's going to be a trailer, like a gameplay trailer for that pack. So any Sims fans watching, let me know down below what your thoughts are on that pack. Are you excited for it? Are you going to get it when it comes out? I'm probably going to get it when it comes out. And we actually do have a Sims 4 Let's Play on the channel where I took all of my Nautilus villagers and put them in The Sims 4. And I unfortunately had to put that on hiatus for a variety of reasons. Now, obviously, the bees are one of those reasons because I can't get to my desk. But hopefully we'll be able to return to that at some point. I do really like that Let's Play and I want to continue it. And we're definitely going to play the My Sims new version that's coming out, I think in November. It's not a remaster, but they're re-releasing My Sims and My Sims Kingdom on the Switch, and I really want to play those so badly. We have played, I think, My Sims Kingdom on the channel before, and those games were like my whole childhood. I played The Sims in a really weird order where I had The Sims 1 when I was like maybe 6 or 7 years old, like very, very young. And then I got The Sims 2 from my stepsister. And then I got My Sims when I was in like 4th or 5th grade. So like I was still in the age demo of My Sims when those games came out, even though I had already played The Sims 1 and 2. So I was locked into The Sims from a very young age. So it's no wonder why I have 7,000 hours in The Sims 4 as an adult. That's honestly rookie numbers. There are some girls out there pushing 10K. And I salute them. Those are the real gamers. But if you never played My Sims before, if you've never seen it before, I think Animal Crossing fans will really like My Sims. It's very similar in terms of the decorating aspects and sort of in the gameplay with the townspeople that you interact with, and they sort of ask you for favors. But definitely, if you're an Animal Crossing fan, check out the My Sims re-release on Switch. I think you'll really, really like it. We missed out on our concert story for the downstairs because I finished the downstairs and now we're upstairs. Wow, that went by so fast and it turned out so cute. I really like the downstairs. But now we've moved on to the upstairs, and this is going to be like Marty's apartment. So he's a farmer, he lives on this farm, and he has his little general store downstairs, and then he has his apartment upstairs that he lives in. And so it is very yellow, and I wanted to still look rustic, like the attic of like a farmhouse, but I wanted it to be like distinctly Pum Pum Purin. So we have the wallpaper and the furniture and a lot of yellow and brown, and I think it turned out really, really cute, and hopefully you agree. But while we get into this part of the build, I will tell you another another concert story, and that is my most recent concert that I went to just a couple of days ago. I saw Atarashigako, and they were so good. They are a Japanese girl group. You might have seen them because they did a little video with Megan Thee Stallion when she visited Japan earlier this year. They are so talented. Their energy is amazing. They have incredible stage presence. Their dance moves are incredible. They do all their own choreography. And I happened to be standing on the side of the stage where Rin was for most of the show. She's my favorite member. And it was just phenomenal. And I'm going to need to see them collab with Megan, like musically, not just for a cute little video. I'm going to need a song. Okay. I'm going to need a track. Megan, please get on that. Atarashigako, please get on that. Thank you. But that was like a short little concert story for all of you. They were amazing. And if you get the chance to see them, definitely go check them out. We're working on the layout of the apartment now. So I decided I had a very strong vision in my head of how I wanted this apartment to look. I wanted to have the bed in like the back right hand corner of the room, and then have the living room on the other side next to the bedroom, and then have the dining room and the kitchen at the front of the apartment. I want it to be like a full apartment with everything he needs to live, except for a bathroom, which I'm very sorry to Marty that you don't have a bathroom, but it's the limitations of this game. You know, if you wanted a bathroom, you should have been in The Sims 4. Sorry, bestie. But I wanted it to be like an actual apartment that he could live in, and I had a very strong vision in my head of how I wanted it to look. And so I spent a long time trying to figure out the living room. That was actually the most challenging part of this entire build. I wanted to have like a couch and a comfy chair and all this stuff, but once again, the partition walls making my life hard because I wanted to have this wallpaper, which I also overuse on Nautilus. I use this in my bedroom renovation, but I love this wallpaper. It's so simple and rustic, and it's perfect for this type of build. So I wanted to use this as the main wallpaper and then have the bedroom have that little bit of the Pom Pom Parent wallpaper, especially because the Hello Kitty wallpapers, a lot of them don't have windows, and I'm like, this man needs windows in his apartment. That is for sure a building code violation for him to be in a windowless room. So I needed to make sure that the wallpaper was mostly normal and then had a little pop of Hello Kitty Pom Pom Parent flair at the back. But because of that, we're using the partition walls and I can't hang anything off of them. So it was really challenging trying to figure out how I wanted to lay out this area of the room. And eventually the bookshelves did come to the rescue, and I ended up using those to sort of fill up the wall space, but it took me a while to figure out. And once again, I had similar issues with the color scheme of the room where I was having trouble making everything stand out and making everything sort of look visually interesting and distinct, but also look cohesive, which I know that that's kind of an oxymoron, right? Like I want them to look like they fit together, but also stand out. But it's like, I want there to be pops of color, but I want the pops of color to fit together. And I want the objects to look like they belong together, even though half of the objects are like rustic fireplace and bookshelves. And then half the objects are like cartoon bed and cartoon chair and stuff like that. So that was the challenge for this apartment, is making everything cohesive, but not like too bland to look at. That was the struggle that I had with the downstairs, so I didn't want to take that upstairs. I will say I was very frustrated because there is one item that, despite my years of playing this game, I have never unlocked, and that is the poof that goes with the Moroccan set of furniture. That came out with a 2.0 update, and I still have not unlocked it. I don't know why. I know that you can get it from like specific villagers. If you do their Happy Home Paradise build, it'll come as an object that gets unlocked, and then you can order it from the catalog. But I have never built a house for any of those villagers, and that poof would have been so perfect in this build. I wanted to have like a round poof in front of the couch so badly, but I ended up going with the square one, like the square little footrest, because the colors of the round one just weren't working, and I didn't have that other round one that I really wanted, and it just didn't work out. But besides that, I think everything in this upstairs turned out perfectly, especially with the circumstances of you know, trying to fit together all of these disparate styles and stuff. Now working on the kitchen, he gets this cute little galley kitchen, and I struggled a little bit picking the colors of the counters once again because of the visual of the build. I didn't want it to be too of like that beige orange wood color. But eventually we figured out the kitchen, and we have these little pops of white from that kitchen set. The one that comes with the original game, that before the 2.0 update. I forget what it's called, but it's the one with all the metal and stuff. That ended up being the saving grace of the kitchen area. But yeah, I think that this apartment turned out super duper cute. And it was a process but it ended up being a very fruitful process. And actually, let me know down below what your favorite room is at the end of the video once you've seen everything. I'm curious if you like the outside, the inside, the upstairs, or the downstairs more. I named 4 rooms there, but I don't know how to talk, so forgive me. Besides that floor cushion that I don't have access to in the catalog, unfortunately, there were a couple of other items that I really wanted to include in this upstairs that ended up not fitting. One of those items is the Pom Pom Purin TV, which did not fit above the fireplace where I placed it, but I ended up having room for that downstairs, so that worked out nicely. I also really wanted to include as much of the Pom Pom Purin furniture as I possibly could, and I ended up not including the bookshelf because the colors of it just weren't right. Like, it had too many colors, and this room is very beige and brown and yellow, and I wanted to focus on that. So instead of using the bookshelf, which has like red and green and blue and everything, I used the table as a bookshelf, and I put a little book stand on top of it that fit the colors of the room better. So I think that was a good compromise. And I did manage to use the Pom Pom Purin chairs around the dining table, which I was very proud of because those chairs are quite silly, but I think that they look really cute. And I really wanted to include like the cornucopia, or like the little table display that comes with the Harvest Fest furniture set, but I ended up not having space for it. It was just like too big and too much, and the colors just weren't quite right, so I wasn't able to include those items, unfortunately. But everything else in this room just turned out so adorable. Like, I honestly would live here. Like, this color scheme is not really my thing, but like, if you told me to move in here, I would be mad. Like, it would become my thing. Like, I would just become Pom Pom Purin, I guess. I mean, he dresses pretty nice. You know, he's got the beret. He doesn't wear pants, which I think I personally would choose for myself. I would wear pants. But his clothes that came with the game, the amiibo clothes, very cute. And I did include one of his t-shirts on the wall in the bedroom, as well as the little poster of him with the pickaxe. Why does he have a pickaxe? Oh, he's supposed to be Rossetti in the poster, isn't he? He's supposed to be Rossetti in that poster. Y'all will see later on in the build when I put the poster up. To be fair to me, there is an immense amount of Rossetti erasure in this game. I don't know if it's because they're scared of his reputation or what, but to be fair to me, Rossetti is not a huge presence in this game, so forgive me for forgetting what his outfit looks like and the fact that he has a pickaxe. But that is, I guess, what that poster is referencing. But yeah, that is basically the design for the room, and you're gonna see it come together. We ended up adding in some fun details that I really enjoyed, and I hope that you all enjoy them as well. But since we are wrapping up the video, I will tell you my last concert story, as well as tease a couple of other things that are going to be coming to the channel, hopefully very soon, courtesy of the gaming laptop. Thank you, gaming laptop. And thank you, ceiling streamers, again, for being the MVP of this build. Appreciate you, besties. But I actually told these concert stories like wildly out of order. I actually went to this last concert first, and then I went to the Sweat Tour, and then I went to Ashirashigako. So forgive the sequence of events here, besties. But the first concert that I saw since I last saw all of you was actually Mitski with Lamp as the openers, and I was so excited to see Lamp. I've seen Mitski before. I saw her for her last tour for Laurel Hell, which was really fun. But I have never had the opportunity to see Lamp before, and I was so excited. That is going to be my #1 Spotify listen to artist at the end of the year. I can already call it now. I'm sorry, Troye Sivan from earlier. He's not going to be on the list. I don't know why I'm apologizing to him, but it's definitely going to be Lamp for sure. I know that. But they were so good. Their instrumentation, incredible. Like, hearing them live, you don't really think when you're listening, because a lot of their music is very soft and calming. You don't really think when you're listening to them like, oh my god, this is like incredibly complex instrumentation going on. But then when you see them perform live, it's like, oh, there are so many instruments happening, and you are playing so many of them. It's really incredible. They were absolutely fantastic. Hearing Last Train at 25 o'clock live was a life-altering, transcendent experience that I will never forget, and I am so jealous of all the people who are getting to see the full Lamp concert, because they're going on tour by themselves now that they're done opening for Mitski. But speaking of Mitski, As I mentioned, I saw Mitski for her Laurel Hell tour, and not to bring up controversy in the voiceover besties, but the Laurel Hell tour, along with her previous tours before that, was in traditional, like, standing room type concert venues, and people were saying that there was some poor behavior at some of these shows towards Mitski, towards other concert goers. I actually witnessed some of this behavior myself at my own tour stop. Once again, not to get controversial on here, but this has been a trend, I think, at a lot of recent concerts. Just a lot of people who've never been to shows before going to shows and not knowing how to act, and it is what it is. I hope that it would get better, and a lot of people speculated when she announced her most recent tour for The Land is Inhospitable and So Are We, that she had chosen theater venues, seated theater venues, to sort of change audience behavior a little bit. And I do think that that may have been an aspect of her choice, because the audience was more well behaved, definitely, for sure. And it was a very relaxed environment. It was a really great environment for listening to the album. But the show itself was clearly designed to be in a theater. Like, the lighting and the staging was so intricate and beautiful and intentional, and like stuff that you could not do at those other traditional concert venues. So I'm really glad that she switched the venues, because it was clearly like part of her artistic vision, and it made the album like come alive. I don't know how to describe it. That's so corny. I'm sorry. I promise I'll wrap this up soon. But the staging was so beautiful, and the instrumentation, the live versions of those songs, once again, not to be controversial, I liked the live versions a lot more than a lot of the album versions of those songs. The country influence, like the Nashville sound that she brought on the tour, was so fun. And God, I really hope that she puts out like a live album or like a concert movie or something, so we could hear those songs that way again, because it was so wonderful and fun. And I got to sit and enjoy several hours of beautiful music by an incredible musician, multiple incredible musicians, and what a time that was. And I got to go with my lovely friends. I got to go with my mod Chloe and several of my other close friends, and it was so wonderful. And not only did I get to go see Mitski with them, but I also got to go to the Animal Crossing event at the Georgia Aquarium with them. And that event will be appearing in an upcoming New Horizons video. So if you're not subscribed already, you're going to want to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, and set it to all notifications so that you know when that video is up, because I am so excited to show that to y'all. Along with at least one more Halloween video. I'd like to get out at least one more. I want to try and decorate Nautilus for Halloween. I did a video decorating Nautilus for Halloween years ago, like old Nautilus. If you want to go check that out, I can link that for y'all. It's an old video and an old version of my island, but I'm kind of nostalgic for it, and I think that it was really cute, and I'd like to try doing that again. So we might try and decorate Nautilus for Halloween, and if not, we'll probably do a Happy Home Paradise Halloween build, as we often do. This is my favorite season in Animal Crossing. That was another question that came up in the Extra Besties Q&A video, was what's your favorite holiday? And when I was recording that, I completely forgot about Festival, because I'll say for decorating and like vibes, Halloween all the way. Like Spooky Day, absolutely love. I love Jack. I love the villagers pranking you. I love the candy. I love all of it. But for actual like vibes, Festival, I kind of love Festival. Obviously, love Pave, what an icon. And I love the music. The music for Festival is so fun. Like, I feel like an underrated aspect of Animal Crossing holidays is the overworld music, especially in New Horizons, where I really like the New Horizons soundtrack, but I'm not gonna lie and say it's my favorite, because it definitely isn't. So having a change to the hourly music is really, really fun. I really like the fishing tourney and the bug off music. I like that music quite a bit. So if you want to hear more answers to questions like that and many more, check out Extra Besties. The Q&A video, once again, should be up around the time that this video goes up, and I actually have an announcement to make about that, so I'll make that now. That video was supposed to be the September Extra Besties video, but along with the bees as well as several other real life issues that got in the way, of that video. It ended up being late. So if you were an extra bestie in September, whether you paid for it yourself or it was a gifted sub or anything of the sort, I kept a list of who the extra besties were right before the billing period rolled over. And if you are no longer an extra bestie in October, but you would like to access the September video, feel free to DM me on Discord. I will have a link to that in the description, and I will gladly send you a link because that is your video and you should be able to access it. So there you go, extra besties. Just a PSA for all of you while we shine things. Of course, you have to shine things. And for this month's extra bestie video, which will be on time, I'm going to be doing a tour of some of my Sims builds that I did off camera while I was procrastinating on other things. So there you go. If you're interested in some Sims, now is a time to become an extra bestie because you'll get a little extra Sims content. But we are finally fixing the outside and adding the bees. I changed up the little fishing area down there to add the apple jelly, and now we're releasing the bees. This was actually kind of scary for me, I'm gonna be honest, just like thinking about the bees in my walls, but it's okay because Marty is here and we're changing the name of his house to Marty's Pumpkin Patch, which is a much better name than his old name, and I personally think a much better house. But that is going to be it. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for making it to the end. If you liked this video, make sure to leave a like. It really helps me out. If you really like this video, you can leave a comment letting me know. Or if you want to see more videos like this, you can subscribe and hit the bell to be notified every time I post or go live. Like I said, I'm going to be having a video about the real life Animal Crossing Museum X Aquarium crossover very soon. So be on the lookout for that, as well as more Halloween videos. As previously mentioned, if you want even more New Horizons, I do have channel memberships called Extra Besties, where you pay $2 a month and you get extra streams, extra videos, and extra bestie thank yous at the end of main channel videos. So I want to say thank you to Soph, Kem, and Zigzagoon. Thank you for being extra besties. I really appreciate you. And for all the besties who made it to the end of the video, thank you. I appreciate all of you a whole lot. And I appreciate your patience. And hopefully next time I see you, it will be for decorating Nautilus for Halloween, and there will be significantly less bees in my wall. So until then, see you soon, besties. Oh, and I'll make sure to post this build along with the build I did for the Q&A video, which was finishing Captain's house, on my HHP online accounts. You guys can tour them if you would like. So feel free to take a little visit. And if you take pictures, send me pictures. I'd love to see them. He doesn't wear pants, which I think I personally would choose for myself. I would wear pants.